Hi folks, and welcome to another route round at Newton Ards from Intensive Driving Courses NI. This route is going to take an area up round the sort of two close together roundabouts on the sort of Archbanker Road, up sort of the Movilla Road direction, out towards the 6 road ends, back up and into Beverley Housing Estate on the Ards to Archbanker Carriageway. As normal folks, if you've watched the videos before, please like, subscribe, comment away please, and share the sort of knowledge and the sort of the channel itself to friends and family. And as we always say on videos, these are based on advice. This is not to change necessarily anything that you're learning with your current instructor or family friend, etc. They're just designed to give a bit of a commentary, a bit of a sort of show, and hopefully a few helpful techniques and tips. Now today we're just starting from outside the test centre in Newton Ards on Jubilee Road. So let's get started folks. I'm just going to move off. Remember, do your full sweep round. Always check the blind spot, which is chin on the right shoulder, and we're heading off, as I say, on the Jubilee Road. Weather conditions today sort of still quite damp, so I'm going to be watching for 4 seconds on possibly some of the roads rather than just the 2. So Jubilee Road, an industrial type area, a lot of sort of businesses like DIY, tiles, tire places, etc. So you do get a lot of drivers up this area who are not familiar. So be on the lookout for sort of late braking, etc. and sort of rash decisions from drivers. Most of Jubilee Road isn't marked, unfortunately, so you know, just keep your normal position from the curb, and sometimes you get a bit of a seam line in the middle. But with the markings, you know, if you need to stay slightly more to the left, that's fine, but obviously not too close to the curb. So the route itself, we're going to come down to a set of traffic lights just coming into view there shortly. We're going to be going left, so it's normal procedure as you approach. Just one lane turning left by the markings here. It's a filter arrow, left turn only, so indicating his individual preference. And I'm just going to indicate because there is other drivers to benefit. And as I come round, I'm going to position to the right hand lane straight away, because on the route that I'm taking today, you can see there in the sign that it's straight at the next light in the right hand lane. Another clue is there's a left hand filter arrow built into the left, or into the light set. Coming up folks, just remember, always have tires and tarmac with the vehicle in front if you do stop, and that means that you're able to negotiate safely or easily round should they get stranded, broken down, etc. Moving off, just checking all mirrors. Always look for bikes and motorbikes as well, could be filtering. Now heading on to Cumber Road, and we're now into South Street. Travelling down, this area is quite tight, so my speed's way down here, 15 to 20. Can't really give a car door width for the vehicles here, so you have to now reduce the speed because the space is restricted. I'm going to negotiate up to the traffic lights at the next junction, and we're going to be turning right. Now we've got parked cars on both sides, so I'm checking the mirrors again, easing off, bringing the speed well down. If you feel the car starting to struggle, obviously drop her down a gear, etc. My car is quite happy in the gear I'm in. Now checking, positioning to the lane. There's a car parked just before the light, so I'm just going to wait until I pass that before I indicate. And now coming up again, just behind the brown car here, still keeping tires and tarmac. Handbrake on if you think it's going to be a wait rather than a pause. The other thing at lights is always make sure you check into the road that you're going to see if it's safe to proceed. And obviously for the right turn, I'm just going to let the first car position out. Some drivers will, some won't, but I'm just going to come up to initially where they were, which is the top of the queue. And once they are clearing, I'll head out and then check the gap with the oncoming, which I do have. The arrow just came on as I was turning. Just remember, you don't need to wait for the arrow to come on necessarily. It's there as an additional help to show you that oncoming has come to a stop. I'm going to travel down to an island here. You see all traffic. We're going to come around and we're going to merge over with the right hand side of the new road. So normal mirror checks indicate about 3 to 4 car lengths back. Shows the cars behind it you're sweeping over unless in case they try to cut in. Nice gentle sweep over, making sure the indicator's cancelled in case it looks like you're taking a further direction to the right. Coming round now into Old Cross Street, going to try and take up the left lane. So again, checking mirrors indicating, double check the left mirror again and moving over. We're now into Castle Street. Looks like we've got a bit of roadworks, of lanes blocked here, so I'm just going to position out. Yes, I can see the sort of keep to the right arrow there. So the queue will be a little bit longer here, and there's obviously going to be confusion as it sort of merges into one. Now I've got the black car here who's obviously going to try and come over. It just really depends on obviously the time of day and the day you're down here, folks. This looks like just temporary roadworks. We're going to travel down though to the next set of traffic lights where we're going to turn to the left. So the roadworks are finishing just after the second vehicle, so I'm just checking top and left mirror, gliding in. I can clear the sort of hazard markings there at the fire station, and I'm just going to position here, again, tires and tarmac with the black car. Handbrake into neutral. Just give yourself a wee bit of a rest sometimes at traffic lights by doing that. Just means you can bring the left foot up. And if your left foot ever gets sort of tired, or the leg gets a little bit sort of edgy, you know, sort of see if there's a footrest maybe just to the left of the clutch, which you can push down on that there. It gets the circulation going. Looking here, we've got a left filter arrow built into the lights. Now it can come on before straight on or right are allowed to go, so basically keep attention on those lights. Also checking for any bikes and motorbikes that might filter up. Checking into the new road. Traffic seems to be moving well when they turn in, so hopefully the traffic's not building up. Because remember, green is proceed if clear, not just necessarily go. See the crossings on just in the road there, and just anticipating people sometimes make a mad sort of run. Just the crossings finishing off. So always remember, driving's like live television, changes every single second. Trouble at lights, sometimes at big junctions, the tendency is to daydream and start to look too much to the side. Keep concentrating on the road you're going, the lights, and checking for bikes. There's your filter arrow on. So we're now going to proceed after checking for bikes. Initially coming round, always position to the left-hand lane or a metre from the curb unless you're told otherwise. We've now turned into George's Street, A21 as it might be on some sat-navs. I'm now going to position a lane to the right, so I'm now checking my mirrors, indicate double check before I move over. And we're going to come up to two roundabouts just at the top of the hill. Now, the roundabouts are quite close together. We're going to turn right at the second roundabout, so we can use the right-hand lane for straight at the first. It just makes things a little bit easier. Signposted to donaghadee, you can see abbreviated there on the road. So normal straight-on procedure, so no indicating on approach. Staying in the right hand lane, trying to make a small C, and then indicating left to leave, but again stay positioned to that right hand lane so that you're able to turn right at the next roundabout. And that just makes it easy. Now you can go straight in either lane, but it depends really where you're going at the second roundabout. So if you're going straight at both, left lane. If you were going right at the second, right hand lane for straight. Entering onto the roundabout, just normal procedures as I'm sure you've been well taught. Always check your mirrors before you indicate unless you see a traffic, and sometimes you get people who are not familiar with the town. You may need to loop round again. We've now entered onto Donaghadee Road. Speed limit here is 30 miles an hour, emphasised by consistent street lights and no other repeater sign. We're going to be taking the second road off to the right, so we're just passing the first. The second's just beyond the pedestrian crossing. So again, normal mirrors indicate. Try to come in after the ghost island or chevrons. Stay well centered in the middle of the right hand slip, and obviously if it's safe with oncoming, turn in. And we've now turned into Movilla Road. Haven't seen a change of sign, so we're going to presume it's still in the 30 mile an hour area. We can still see the consistent lights, but further up now you can see we're coming to a 40, and that really emphasises we're going from urban to suburban, which is really the outskirts of towns, cities and villages. Always check before you increase your speed, make sure there's no sort of early overtakers, and if it's safe, traffic conditions are allowing, then 40 miles an hour, fourth gear in the majority of vehicles. So we're travelling up. Generally in a 40 you will get repeater signs on a regular basis, but remember, if you're ever unsure with lights, 30 unless you're told different. So there's plenty of repeaters on this road. Further up we can see we've got a part-time 20 mile an hour speed limit. That is only enforced when the lights show. But obviously coming up near school, think about PTA meetings, sports events, school fairs. There's a lot goes on in schools other than just the normal, let's say, 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock hours. We're going to be taking a left turn just past the pedestrian crossing. So again, nice early procedure. We'll indicate about 6 to 8 car lengths back, and this one's just giving enough time for people to be informed by your indicator. Quite tight turn here. Looks like we've got a hill, so that's why second gear is always your highest for turning into a junction. Some tighter ones may be first, but never any higher than second. Now on this road, it's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. There is a sign just at the bottom of the hill, but a lot of people miss it. But have a look, consistent lights and no other signs. So remember, 30 miles an hour unless otherwise indicated with lights. Got a few parked cars scattered about here, so you'll probably find your speed hovering roughly about 25 one side of cars, hovering about 20 for both sides. And again, obviously you can go slower with than that if need be. In around this area, you've got plenty of side streets, excuse me, so you may be pulled in and asked to do the left-hand reverse or possibly the turn in the road. We're going to be taking the next road on the left, so nice early procedure. Remember, down to second, check nobody's crossing the road on foot. Feed round, always expect hassle or hazards in the new road, and if you don't get it, it's a bonus. Speed limit, no other new signs, so it's the same speed limit as the last road, which was 30, so that's what we're working within. So again, you could be 10, 15, 20, it just depends on the tightness of the hazard you have. This is Lon Brook Drive, by the way. Just beyond where the Royal Mail vehicle is, we're going to emerge to the left. So again, top mirror, left mirror, indicator on good time. If you feel it's going to inform, there was enough road users there to imply it. Curling in, remember, check both directions, folks, not just for cars, but also for bikes and motorbikes. Because they will sort of be observed last by a car driver. Car drivers tend to look for the bigger objects, i.e. the ones that are more threatening, the cars, the buses, the vans, etc. So again, we're still fairly residential area here. Cronston Cottage Park is the street that we're on. And the road curls very, very tightly to the right here, just after the Fusion van there. So again, we're just checking because we are easing off, just giving a slight touch of brakes. And we're going to take the next junction left here, emerge. So we can see we've got road humps there on the new road. So we're curling in. Most T-junctions will be what's known as closed. So it will take sometimes just 2 or 3 seconds to check. And we can see our first speed ramp coming up. So you never want to be any higher than second. And average speed, depending on the vehicle, is probably about 15, 18 miles an hour. And it's hard to know exactly how many ramps are going to be in a road, but normally when you go over one, you should be able to see the other quite soon. So I think we've got one more just coming up. Now we're at a T-junction. It's got a giveaway marking and a sign here, so that emphasises it's a slightly busier road that we're going on to. Normal procedure obviously coming up. We've done our mirrors, we've done our signal, positioning just left of the centre white line. And obviously when you're turning right, you've got quite a few directions to look at. So remember, it's not just wait for a certain amount of time and go, it's go when you've got the gap. Emerging out, haven't seen any speed signs as yet, so I'm going to deem now 30 miles an hour, that's my maximum. But always scan, because within the first 200 metres you should see a repeater if it's going to be there. And there we have a 40. So now everything's moving well. I can take the speed up to 40 and up into 4th gear. So we're still in what's known as a suburban area. Junction's a little bit further apart than they would be in the urbans. No parked cars, so again, making safe progress at the speed. Mirror checks now, remember to check your middle mirror and basically say the words middle mirror, because it will get you that 1 to 2 seconds checking, and you want that brain to take a photographic sort of image of what you see. Coming up to the national, checking mirrors, increasing to the 45. But you always check your mirrors before you do increase in case you've got any early overtakers, because essentially this road is 60 for some other vehicles, either cars and motorbikes. This road here now, you can see the white line is changing length on occasion. So short lines, safer level bit of road. Long lines, hill corners, junctions, i.e. your hazard markings. Solid white line at the side, that indicates really the edge of carriageway. So it's like a curve on the rural roads. So you can see now the road's getting straight, it's getting more level, so the lines have got shorter. This is where most people, if they want to, will go for the overtake round you. Now on the rural roads, obviously you've got an increased chance of cyclists, tractors, etc. And also if people are walking, just remember a walker's probably maybe taking a quarter of the road. So always be a good 15 seconds ahead you in view. Treat hills like vertical bends, ease off just to get a better look. And try not to brake into a corner. Ease off, maybe cover the brake just as a comfort. Taking the appropriate line round. We can see slow, which is speed lower observed warning, is a good way to indicate that. And that could tell you there's a bit of history on the bends or the junction that's coming up. Now depending on what route you go on, obviously they can deviate off routes. You should get a mixture of different types of roads. So it's not going to be all urban. It just depends obviously on the area that you're in. So it could be urban, rural, bit of dual carriageway as well. So we've got two slow signs coming up. So they're really trying to tell us something here. And as we can see, we're sort of tight in our restrictions. So again, just check the mirrors before you ease off, because any speed or direction you need mirror checks. Make them nice and obvious, and as I say, let the brain take that photographic image of what you see. Road's opening up a wee bit more now, so I'm just increasing the speed. Depending on the car that you're in, fourth gear might be good, or fifth gear. This car I'm in is quite happy fourth gear for that 40 to 45 range. But it's sort of light rain here, so I'm just thinking that 4 seconds. Obviously there's no traffic in front of me, but a lot of people get fooled when it's light rain or it's just been raining, because the road can be very, very greasy. So in about 20 seconds we're going to be at a roundabout, which is going to be a junction. And the thing is, sometimes when you're in long stretches of rural road on your driving test, you can sort of relax too much. So always expect the junctions, get ready to perform. And the reason most speed limits drop at junctions is obviously there's more intricate stuff to do. So we'll check in the mirrors, just making sure we're no more than 40 as we pass. We're going to take the first exit to the left signpost at the Bangor there. So we're into our normal procedure of mirrors early, giving a signal in good appropriate time. Checking what the lane markings are. We can see it's just one lane for left, obviously at the roundabout. Scan and plan, enter on if it's safe. And we're now on to Junction Road, but we're going to be taking the next road here quite soon, just where the vehicles are waiting. And we're now on to Green Road, as in Bangor direction. The last speed limit sign we seen was 40, so we're going to presume this road's 40 because we haven't been told different by the local council or authorities. And just beyond there, because obviously we're way past the junction stuff now, we can get our national speed. We're scanning those mirrors, increasing now to 45. And the other thing is, if your car needs to stay in third for a bit more acceleration, that's fine also. Again, this is all car dependent. These videos are just advice really on what you're saying. Straight level bit of road, so you can see now the lines are short, big gaps between them. When they lengthen, expect hazards. So if you were going to overtake, for instance, if I say to you, look, maybe wait until it gets shorter, and obviously you can see the hills here is probably why the lines did increase their length. Checking the mirrors every 7-8 seconds on roads like this here, obviously more when you're in busy areas. Just keep really up to date, because the likes of motorbikes can come up upon you very, very quickly. Slow, so again, speed lower observed warning, so I'm checking the mirrors, easing off. And obviously it's because it's the sight lines here and we're straight into a sweeping bend to the left. We start to see a wee bit more electric poles, telephone poles, so it's getting quite urbanised now, so maybe expecting a drop of speed. And just further round the bend there you can see the 30-mile-an-hour urban speed limit coming into use. So again, we're checking those mirrors. Normally most cars like third gear for 30. Make sure you're not over the speed at all as you pass. Now the speed will take a few seconds for the brain to adapt to, because you were going quite a rate there, even though it was only 15 miles an hour more. So always give it about 5 or 6 seconds to adapt to the lower speed. Nothing really happening here. We've got vehicles, but they're in laybys. We've got protection zone islands there. The centre, they've got a drop curb, and that's really for people to cross the road half at a time. Very, very handy, obviously, for anybody with any wheels, bicycles, buggies, etc. Pedestrians on the left there with hoods up, so again, sort of lack of sound, etc. So you're always on the lookout for other people. You know, it's always anticipation, what if, using good funnel vision. Now I'm going to come downhill, so I'm just easing off the gas, throttle, accelerator, etc. Covering the brake just in case we get those extra few miles an hour added on. And then once it levels off, obviously you can transfer the foot back over. In about 20 seconds, we're going to be at a set of traffic lights. You can sort of see what's known as shell grip. That's a sort of more of a grip surface. And you normally get that at sort of junctions, roundabouts, traffic lights, etc. And we're going to be turning to the left. So normal mirrors indicate appropriate, because we've got two directions here of a choice. Lights may change, so we're keeping that just in the back of our mind. If not, it's going to be a hill start. So securing the vehicle manually or the automatic handbrake may go on. First gear, really what you're doing is you're looking a little bit more revs. And the main thing is not to roll back, okay? Take your time, an extra second or two if you're using the manual handbrake. Really is worth its weight in gold. Travelling now onto the Archbanker Carriageway. We can see the national speed there, so just double check, because this speed limit now is 70 for full licence holders in the car. Nobody's coming up, lanes are clear, so I'm just building up. Again, you can stay in third a bit longer or go to fourth, roughly about 40. 45. Now, this type of road, dual carriageway, main sort of issues is, again, people can daydream, people can relax, etc. We can see roadworks there in 1 mile, so we're going to take it that there is roadworks. Never think there's not going to be. If there isn't, well, obviously it's even easier. So we're checking up quite light traffic for the day that we're doing the video here today. But because of the higher speeds, it's very, very easy to get drawn along with other traffic. So only think about your speed, not the speed of other vehicles. We've got a van or some sort of lorry again in front of us, but they're far enough ahead, they're making good progress. Now, on this part of a drive, you know, your examiner might start to interact with you in conversation, etc. You know, but stay focused. You know, one-word answers is fine, stuff like that. You don't have to have a full-blown conversation, but this is the type of road where it may come in. Now we're getting a bit more information signs about the road work, so it's saying 600 yards, the right-hand lane comes to an end there. You can see your no through road sign. We've now another one coming up, which is going to be either 500 or 400 yards, etc. I can see traffic now behind starting to push in, and always be aware you're going to get somebody who will try to leave it to the last minute. Further round, you should be able to see a keep left arrow, emphasising basically the right hand lane is out of action. Our lane flows, but I'm just checking to see if anybody's cutting in. Now, going to be coming into view shortly. You're going to see a 40 mile an hour sign. We're going to take an off slip to the left just past that sign. Really, the off slip just starts where the sign is. So, checking mirrors early because of the higher speeds, indicating about 6 car lengths back on average. But your instructor will have taught you this. You've got the off slip. Make sure you glide in, and we're going to be turning down to the left here. Now turn down into Beverly Heights. So we're in the 30 mile an hour area now. Beverly Heights is quite a busy area, so it is again just on the left. You could be pulled in there to do a turn in the road exercise, and there's plenty of left hand junctions for your reverse round the corner. So remember, you don't get all maneuvers on your driving test, just the emergency stop, fairly well guaranteed, and then one maneuver with reverse. So we're going to have to come over the centre white line a wee bit here with the park one, checking the mirror. It's going to indicate because we are barring a bit of road. We're just telling the white vehicle there. It's quite tight now, so appropriate gear depending on the vehicle. Mine is second, it could even be third, and some vehicles. Just going to ease in because the oncoming vehicle's coming up close. Give myself plenty of room just to come round, down into first. Don't panic if you have to hold back, because defensive driving is really the key. If you're not sure, give yourself time to think. And we're on Roseville Avenue now. Again, I'm averaging speeds here about 15, 18, 20 really at the most. So although it's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit, remember your limit is your limit. It's not the target you have to reach all the time. Plenty of driveways, so scan out, funnel your vision rather than just looking straight ahead. Checking the mirrors as well for anybody coming up quite close. In this case, there's not. Now, as well as manoeuvres, you could be asked to pull in on various locations. Make sure it's safe, legal and convenient. Not too close to a junction, i.e. 15 metres from it. Not double parked, not on a blind bend, etc. So shortly the road's going to bend here to the right, and it's quite a steep hill, so make sure you're in the correct gear nice and early. And at the top of the road we can see the give way sign emphasising busier road that you're going on, and we're going to emerge to the left. So normal approach sequence. The road actually does flatten out very quickly just at the end. You obviously in the video you can't see this, but we're going, well you can actually, we're going on to a 2-lane road. It's not a dual carriageway, because it doesn't have a centre of reservation. But what I'm doing is I'm checking to the right and making sure I've got a decent gap in each lane, because I don't want to pull out in the left lane directly beside somebody in the right, and that's known as simultaneously emerging. So I've got my sort of go ahead. As I'm coming round, I can see a parked car just there, so I'm just going straight into the right hand lane, and it just sort of saves time. Now obviously if the first parked car was well down the road, go to the left and then pull it out, but it was because it was quite close, sorry. It was just to make safe progress early. So we're on a 30-mile-an-hour road. As I say, it's not a dual carriageway, because remember dual carriageways need a central reservation, which is your grass verge, your barrier wall or your fence. Here we've just got a white line dividing. Scan the crossing, can't see weight or a ring of LEDs lit up, so it shouldn't activate. Checking further down, we can see traffic building up just beyond the filling station. This is back to the 2 roundabouts, okay? And this time at the 2 roundabouts we're going to go straight at both. So left hand lane at the first one really sets you up for that procedure. Didn't indicate to come back to the left lane there, because that's really your driving lane. Keeping the crossing open even if it's green until you've got at least your car length the other side. These roundabouts are quite busy, so don't be surprised if it's a temporary halt and give way, except just again depends on the time of day and the traffic that's coming up. So there's no set time to emerge apart from it's safe, that you're not going to cause anybody to slow, stop or swerve. So indicating just to leave the first roundabout. Second roundabout comes up very, very close, okay? So you can just see it now. Now we're taking the first exit, which is basically straight on in this one, so I'm indicating on approach. Not entering on now, because I don't want to sort of sit on the roundabout until I see the traffic starting to move, which it is now. Again, just quite a busy time of the day when I was doing the video for this one. Try not to crowd the other vehicles in front, always making sure we've got the tires and tarmac. You could be asked to take up the right hand lane here, so I'm going to do that. So well check it, indicate, then double check. Most drivers will take about 3 flashes of an indicator to know exactly what's happening. I was too close there to the amber lights to stop. The amber light does mean stop unless it's unsafe to do so, but it was close enough there that stopping would not have been the safest option. I'm going to turn right at the traffic light, so again, normal procedure. Right turn only, so it's individual choice whether you indicate, but I feel for pedestrians here there's enough activity going on, so an indicator isn't going to confuse. It's quite a wide road you're turning out onto now, so unless you're told different, remember position, left lane, or just a metre from the curb. If your examiner wants you to go to the right hand lane on the new road, he or she would tell you early enough before you make the turn. So I'm at the front of the queue here, so I'm just checking all mirrors, checking for motorbikes, checking for bikes, checking into the new road as well. Is there any roadworks? Is it safe to proceed? Is there any build-up of traffic, etc.? Because remember, green is proceed if clear. It's not always a guaranteed go. Quite a busy junction here, so you could have maybe a junction going at a time, then the pedestrian crossing activated and stuff. So just stay alert. And always remember, if you stall the car, handbrake, neutral, restart it. That's obviously if you're in a manual handbrake. The other handbrake may go on electronically. But if you do stall, always check, is the light still good for me? Is the roundabout still clear? Is the gap at the junction? Because a lot of people panic about the stall, get the vehicle moving, and then they move off without checking. So obviously there's the crossing there. We've got a few pedestrians coming across. So I think everybody's gone. So hopefully it will be us on the next light sequence. So there we go. Just checking for any bikes. There's green, proceed if clear. Everything's moving well. So I'm traveling around. See, it's 2 lanes. I'm going to position to the left lane because I wasn't told different. And we've now entered A20 Port of Ferry Road. Traffic's moving quite well. So I'm aiming here for 30. I'm in 3rd gear. And we're going to travel up to the next set of traffic lights where we're going to turn to the left. And I'll be signposted to Cumber. So nice early mirror checks, top and left, gliding in. It's left turn only. So again, indicate if need be. On this one I'm not, because I feel I'm in the middle of a queue here. But then if I'm in the middle of a queue, I've probably blocked the arrow for other drivers on the road. So it will indicate to sort of enforce where I'm going. Checking the left-hand arrow, because a lot of people will sit and they'll only see the red. So always make sure you're focusing on those lights. Checking to the side for bikes and motorbikes is okay. Try not to be involved in adverts, shops, etc. Not a good time as well to be talking to people, examiner included, really, because you want to give yourself the full attention. So we're now turning left and we're now entering into South Street. So again, still in the 30-mile-an-hour area, but you can see we've got cars on either side. So I'm just staying in second, really just at this point. And some drivers may not sort of work with you, so some could actually take quite a bit of road up. So always be on the lookout, always be defensive. We've just got 2 sets of traffic lights remaining on this drive. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight at the first set, and your examiner may ask you to position to the right-hand lane when it's safe. Always do your normal checks and then glide out. If there was a car waiting to turn to the right, preferably they would just get you to stay in the left lane and then move you over. So our last set of traffic lights, we're going to turn right before we go into Jubilee Road. So we're just checking our normal procedure. Remember, don't drive over any of the hatch marking, chevrons or Ghost Island. We've got our green lights, so I'm going to position into the centre. Check for oncoming gap, which is clear. Don't worry if you're still finishing your turn on amber or red, as long as you didn't cross the line on red or amber if it was unsafe. Back on the Jubilee Road, folks. Again, when this was filmed, it was quite quiet. It was the weekend, but during normal weekdays, folks, there's a lot of traffic. Again, remember the types of business: tiles, DIY, unusual type of shopping. So you would look for, and obviously it's quite close to the test centre, so you're going to get a lot of other people learning, which could be of any sort of ability, folks. Probably the first time they've moved their car, or maybe they're doing the test with you quite soon. Travelling up goes to a different type of road surface. There is a seam line. It's not a legal line, okay, but it gives you a bit of an idea roughly where your middle of the road is. Test centre is just beyond there, where we've got the white car. And you've got a series of ramps. I'm going to take you around the 3 ramps. So the first one, although it says 15, is probably the lowest, but make sure you're down in the second gear. Entering on, and then we're going to follow around a clockwise system. You can see the sort of arrows painted. The next ramp, 15, is a really high one, so we're easing off the power, down into first gear for this. It's a one-way system. Try to aim roughly for the middle square there on the zebra. They would get you to turn in to the spaces on the left or possibly do a bay park. But imagine you've just moved off at the start of the test. I'm just going to take you around the back of the test centre, because this could be on the first 30 seconds of your drive, which I couldn't do early on the video. Heading round, once you're following round just on the blue building, there's two lanes. Stay to the one on the right. There is a no entry, as you can see, and it's the lane with the ramp. Now this one is massive. So down in the first gear, ease your clutch up, try to go about 5 miles an hour over. Just wanted to get that bit because I couldn't get that done at the start of the route. So we're just going to exit out here, folks. We're going to be pulling up shortly on the left. So normal pulling in procedure as taught by your instructor. And always remember, unless it's electronically done, it's handbrake and then neutral. Cancel indicators, relax feet. Okay folks, so there's another sort of route round the Ards area. Remember, please like, subscribe and comment away on those videos, and feel free to share the information of the site to others. Join us again, folks. We will have other videos coming up in the next few days, and thanks for the feedback so far.